everyone. I'm joined by sweet Everly. And today we are going to talk about breastfeeding a newborn. Everly is 3 weeks old and has been breastfed since she was born. And she is my second baby. If you're new here, my first baby, Breeze, is now 2, and I breastfed her until she was 18 months and I got pregnant, and then I was like, nope, done. Do you want to hang out in your lounger for a minute? Pretty girl. Okay. So first off, I know breastfeeding is one of those topics that can stir up big emotions, and truly this video is just my tips and tricks, things that have helped me along the way that I want to share with other moms. The last thing in the world I would want to do is make another mom feel bad about anything. I know everyone's experience and decisions are different, and I can totally respect that. These are just some things that have helped me along the way. First up, here's my experience this time. So Everly was born and we did skin to skin right away. Shortly after, I put her on the breast and she did take it, and she did breastfeed for quite a while and did really well. I kept putting her to the breast every 2 or 3 hours after that, the whole next day. My first 24 hours, I just had colostrum and I was able to hand express a little bit. That helped get her latched a little bit better when there was that like instant gratification, and then I also knew I had my colostrum in. And then I think because I kept her on the boob so much those first 24 hours, my milk came in the second day, which was awesome. And when your milk comes in, it's so funny. It's like an instant boob job. Like all of a sudden your boobs just like kind of blow up, and they are like all of a sudden like double D's are like huge for you, and sometimes they get a little leaky, and it's kind of all at once, which is just like hilarious. But that's how you know your milk is in. Well, and also your baby all of a sudden like starts gurgling, maybe spitting up. You can hand express a little bit if you want. But my milk came in pretty early the second day with my first baby too, and I definitely credit that to just having that baby on the boob as much as possible. I did notice her latch was a bit shallow, and then shortly after that my nipples started hurting, which is because of that shallow latch. And so I did try to get, as much as my nipple in there as possible, but newborns can be a little lazy with the latch. That's not uncommon. And so I knew that we were just going to have to keep working on it. I do want to show you these Medela Soothing Gel Pads. These were a lifesaver those first few couple days when my nipples were so sore from her shallow latch. They're just gel pads that you put right on top of your nipples. You can take them off while you're feeding and then put the same ones back on. You can sleep in them, and they help so much so quickly. These were just like a total lifesaver. Everly's latch did get better just with more practice, which is awesome. And I can say we are now nursing with no pain, which is amazing. While we were in the hospital, there were a couple times also when she was a little sleepy and it was time for her to eat, and I kind of had trouble waking her up, and that's when I called the nurses in to help. And so they had some great tactics for getting her up to eat. Another common problem, I think, with newborns, when we got home from the hospital, I kept feeding her at least every 2 to 3 hours, but on demand. So my biggest way I knew if she was hungry is rooting. When she would open her mouth and like kind of start looking for the boob, okay, I was like, all right, she's hungry. Another common one is sometimes she would like be eating at her hands, or maybe get a little fussy. I never wanted her to get to a true cry from hunger, because that can make them actually have a harder time eating, so have a harder time latching. When they're upset, it's just harder in general, so you want them kind of calm, hungry, but kind of calm when you're putting them on your boob. At night, some nights she eats every 3 hours. Some nights we get a 4 or 5 hour stretch, which is crazy. I did not get that this early with my first. But she usually wakes up just kind of fussing a little bit, and that's when I go ahead and feed her. I don't let her get to like a true upset cry, because especially when they're this little, when they're upset, it's just hard to get them to eat well. At night, I do have the problem with her falling asleep on the boob. So my trick is to get a full feeding is I put her right to the boob when she's up, and then if she does fall asleep, or if she's not going to take the second boob so that to get the full feeding, I go ahead and that's when I change her diaper. So a cold wet wipe to the tushy, it seems to do the trick to wake her up to eat. Same thing if it's during the day and she's just really sleepy and doesn't want to wake up to eat and it's been the 3 hours. A diaper change, cold wet wipe to the tushy seems to do the trick even if she doesn't quite need it. I go ahead and do it, and that's how I wake her up. I do wake her up if it's been around 3 hours during the day to get that feeding in, because if she's going to do a longer stretch than that, I want her to do it at night. And she's still young and needs those consistent feedings just for proper weight gain and everything. So I do wake her up from naps during the day if it's been about 3 hours. I mean, I might give her an extra 15 minutes, especially if I need to do something or I need to take care of my 2-year-old, but it's okay. You know, there's that saying, never wake up a sleeping baby. But if you have a newborn or just any baby in general and you're a breastfeeding mama, you need to have those consistent feeds, especially during the day, and it is okay to wake up a sleeping baby. Pumping wise, I am pumping a little earlier than I did last time. I did no pumping or bottles the first month with my first, which was nice, but then she didn't take a bottle very well, and that was kind of stressful. And I don't know, this time I also just kind of like having a little bit of a stash in the freezer or in the fridge, just, you know, for like security reasons. I don't know if anything happened to me or if I had to pop out for a little bit, or just, I don't know. We also decided to do a practice bottle at 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks this time. She did okay with it, you know, like it was just practice. I think we'll try to do a practice bottle at least once a week just to, you know, keep her consistent with it, to make sure she'll take a bottle. Practice makes perfect. I want to mainly breastfeed when I'm home, when I'm with her, but it is important to me for her to be able to take a bottle and take a bottle well, because I will be going back to work 3 days a week after 12 weeks. And then also I do want to be able to step out, maybe take Reese somewhere, maybe go on a date with Kyle, that kind of thing, and not have to worry, is she going to take the bottle or not? Because I did worry about that with Reese and it was a little stressful. My main way of pumping is with this Haka pump. People say that differently, whatever. So with this, you just stick it on the boob you're not breastfeeding on, like that, and it just kind of suction pumps some milk out. This is just amazing. It's so easy to clean. It takes no extra time. So most people have a lot more milk in the morning. That is definitely true for me. I have a huge oversupply in the morning. So in the mornings, just one feeding, I stick this on my opposite boob and then just keep her on this other boob. Don't switch her. Leave her on this boob the whole time. This one suction pumps the other boob the whole time. And I get, I mean, sometimes over 4 ounces, which is amazing. Definitely above and beyond a full bottle. And that takes no extra time. So easy to clean, like I said. If I'm not doing that, and like, let's say she just isn't very hungry and only takes one boob, so that I'm not walking around with a super sore other boob, I have been pumping with my Momcozy pump. Oh my goodness, guys. It's the Momcozy S12. I love this. So you can just stick it in your bra like this and just like walk around and do your day, which is amazing. So when I do start maybe pumping like more regularly, like if I want to do a like full pump once a day, I'll definitely use 2 of these, or if I'm missing a full feeding, I'll definitely use 2 of these. It has a massage mode. It has a suction mode. It's super easy to take apart, clean, and put back together. I just keep it on like level 2 because I get plenty of milk that way. And this is just such a dream because it's an affordable wearable pump. Some of the prices of the other wearable pumps out there are like absolutely ridiculous. I also have this ebb and flow manual pump, and I don't use it very much. Just like same thing, if I want to get a little relief, if she does like only want one boob or something, I can just use this a little bit. But it's typically, manual pumps have never been my go-to. I do want to talk about your options a little bit. With my first baby, the pediatrician, when he came in our hospital room right after Reese was born, the first thing he said was, don't be afraid to supplement with formula a little bit while you're waiting for your milk to come in. And I was just so like thrown off by that. Like, why would he say that? Like, do we need to? Like, should I? And I decided to go with my gut, and my gut said, I don't need to supplement with formula. Like, the colostrum that I have is plenty. I'm gonna just keep this baby on my boob. And that worked just fine for me. Your doctor's opinion is very important. Everyone's situation is different, but just keep in mind that you are that baby's mama, and if you feel like breastfeeding is going well, you don't necessarily need a supplement. This time at the hospital, I was offered formula twice. So both my babies come out a little jaundiced. Fortunately, it went away by itself for both of them. But the pediatrician did say, you know, if we want to give her a bottle of formula, it could help the jaundice go away faster. I decided not to because I felt like breastfeeding was going well. She was having plenty of wet and dirty diapers by herself. I knew my milk came in early the first time, so I thought it would come in early the second time, which it did. I knew that I had colostrum, so I felt good about just sticking with breastfeeding. And then a nurse offered formula one time when I really was just kind of like upset and fussing and wasn't quite latching. She was like, you know, we could give her formula a little bit just to calm her down and then put her on the boob. And I decided not to. I didn't want to do a bottle that early. And just in general, I just didn't want to. So I said, just, you know, thank you. Let's just keep trying. And within 5 minutes, we got her on the boob. So I just want you guys to know that that advice will be out there and that option will be out there, but you don't have to take it necessarily. Everyone's situation is different. If you're not pumping and you're worried about, is your baby getting enough milk? Some things to look for, are they gaining weight? Having a baby scale is really nice. If you do have a baby scale, you can weigh your baby before you nurse and then after you nurse. And, you know, if the baby went up 3 ounces, they just ate 3 ounces. They're doing great. So that's really helpful if you want to get a baby scale. You want them to be having plenty of wet and dirty diapers. That means they're getting plenty. You can also kind of hear them swallowing. You know, if they're spitting up milk, they're obviously getting some milk. You can try pumping if you want. I would say be careful with pumping too early because you can create an oversupply. And I mean, at first an oversupply, I mean, it sounds great because like, okay, I have all this milk. But then you're kind of a slave to your pump. You'll get like really engorged if you're not pumping all the time. So that's just something to be careful for. You don't want to create a problem for yourself because it is supply and demand. So my like once a day pumping routine with my Haka, I do every day. And probably if I skipped it, I would be so uncomfortable because I would have so much milk. And I could even get like a clogged duct or mastitis potentially. So once you start your pumping routine, you kind of have to stick with it. And now just my general feelings about breastfeeding. Honestly, guys, I love it, which I know that's like crazy to some people because breastfeeding is such a stressful thing for some people, and I totally get that. But I have had not a perfect experience with it, but a really just like positive experience. I love that bonding with my baby. I love that I'm able to provide her nutrients and that like she's living completely off of my body, which is just so amazing and special to me. I love snuggling her, just taking those times of the day and just stopping and what you're doing and just snuggling and like eye contact. And even in the middle of the night right now, when she's 9 months old, maybe not, it's just like really sweet. Just like it's only you two awake in the house and the house is so quiet and you're just snuggling and it's cute and sweet. And I mean, if she dropped down to once a night versus 2 or 3 times a night, I'd be okay with that. But in general, it is sweet. Even at night, it's sweet. It also has really helped me with my recovery. Both times my belly went down fairly quickly. I was able to lose the baby weight fairly quickly, which is just so amazing that your baby is able to help you with that. It helps your uterus contract down. It helps your bleeding stop earlier. A lot of times you'll lose the baby weight a lot quicker because that fat goes straight to your milk, which is just so awesome. And then of course, not to mention the like tons and tons of health benefits that it has for your baby. So I think breastfeeding is just such a beautiful thing and a blessing if you're able to do it. All right, I think that will be it for this video. I want to thank you so much for watching. I would love if you subscribed. If you have not already, please leave me a comment, like this video, and I will see you in my next one.